Welcome to my channel. I'm Karl. Today's video will be creating a drop-down list in Microsoft Excel. Let's dive in. What is a drop-down list? A drop-down list provides a list of choices for users to select from. It is commonly seen in forms and surveys, but it can also be used in creating data tables. Why use a drop-down list? A drop-down list makes it easy for someone to respond, as they only need to select from the list of choices provided to them. Further, the collected data will be easy to analyze and quantify since the response is restricted to only the choices provided. How do we create a drop-down list? First, let's create a list of choices. In this example, let's create a list of fruits that users can select from. The list will contain 4 choices: apple, orange, banana, and cherry. Let's add a column heading name by clicking on apple, which is cell A1. Then on the top menu under home, let's select insert, then click insert sheet rows. With the new row added, let's type fruits. Then let's format it bold. The second step is to convert the list into a table. To quickly convert the list into a table, click one of the cells containing a fruit, such as banana, then press Ctrl T. On the Create Table window, let's leave the data range as is and also leave the selection My Table as headers. Then let's click OK. And just like that, the list is now a table. Let's sort the list alphabetically by clicking on the down button, then selecting Sort A to Z. Before creating that drop-down list, let's add 3 questions. The first question, what is your favorite fruit? Second question, what is your least favorite fruit? And the third question, which fruit belongs to the citrus family? With the list created and questions ready, we can now build that drop-down list. The first thing we need to do is select the cell where we want the drop-down list to display. Let's click on cell E2 next to the first question. Then on the top menu, let's click Data and go to the Data Tools group. Then let's click on this bottom icon and select Data Validation. The Data Validation window will display showing 3 tabs: Settings, Input Message, and Error Alert. Let's complete the Settings tab first. For Allow, let's change any value to List since we want a drop-down list. Then in the source, let's click this button and select the fruit range, which spans from A2 through A5. Then let's click the button to return to the Data Validation Settings tab. Let's click OK and see what that does. Cell E2 now shows a drop-down button. If we click on the button, it will display a drop-down list containing the list of fruits. Let's copy the drop-down list to questions 2 and 3. To copy the drop-down list, click on cell E2. Then hover the mouse cursor towards the bottom right of the cell until the cursor changes to a crosshair. Then left-click and without letting go, drag it down to cells E3 and E4. Now if you click on cells E3 and E4, you'll notice the drop-down list now display. Let's answer the questions. Okay, first question, what's your favorite fruit? I'll select cherry. Second question, what's your least favorite fruit? I'll select apple. Finally, third question, what fruit belongs to the citrus family? I'll select orange. So with the drop-down list, you make it easy for your users to answer questions because they simply need to select from the list of choices you provide them with. and analyzing and quantifying the results will be easy as well, as the responses will be restricted to only the choices you provided. Quick notes: if you want to change the answer to question 2, for example, then click the drop-down list button and select a different answer. If, however, you want to remove the answer to question 2, then click on cell E3, then press the delete key. At this point, most users are happy with the drop-down list they created. However, if you want to add instructions for the user and create a message if the user doesn't select from the list of choices, then you will want to stick around. Okay, so what if we want to add some instructions for the user? How do we add it? Instructions can be added by configuring the data validation settings. From the top menu, select Data. Then in the Data Tools group, let's click the bottom icon and select Data Validation. On the Data Validation window, let's select Input Message. In the title field, let's enter Instruction. Then in the input message, let's enter Select a fruit that best answers the question. When complete, let's click OK and see what that does. Cell E2 will now display instructions we created for the user. Now, what if the user enters a fruit that is not listed in the choices that were provided? For example, for question 1, what if the user types in durian and then clicks enter? Well, Excel will display a message that is not very intuitive. It doesn't explain to the user what was expected from them and what to do next. Let's click cancel and modify what Excel should display if an event a user does not select from the list of choices. On the top menu, let's select Data. Then in the Data Tools group, let's click on the bottom icon and select Data Validation. On the Data Validation window, let's select the Error Alert tab. Let's leave the Show Error Alert after invalid data is entered selected, so that an alert will display to the user after an invalid entry is entered. Let's change the style from Stop to Information. For the title field, let's enter Whoops. Let's try that again. In the error message, let's type click OK, then please select from the list of choices only. When done, let's click OK and see what that does. For question 1, if we enter durian and press enter, Excel will now display a user-friendly alert message that is easy to understand and will also provide what the user should do next. And that's how a drop-down list is created and configured. I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something new. And if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing. Thank you for stopping by, and I will see you in the next video.